The federal government's plans to float a new carrier, Nigeria Air, by next April has stirred fresh controversy in the aviation industry. Issues around lack of structure, infrastructure, certification, timeline, and personnel have raised some dust among industry stakeholders. Apart from the issues with details on equity holding, another concern is the timeline for the project's delivery, which according to them appears unfixable. Now, aviation expert, retired Air Captain Samuel Cochrane joins us now via the telephone. Thank you for joining us, Captain. We appreciate your time.
It's my pleasure to be with you.
So the good news now is that Nigeria finally takes off next April. But the project has been engulfing controversies, as you heard earlier in my intro. The issue of lack of structure and infrastructure, and of course, equity holdings as well. Some of the issues now that the stakeholders and the industry will have to battle with. So, what's your take on all of these?
Let me start by letting our viewers know that I was a member of the presidential committee that recommended establishment of the national carrier. So some people may consider my opinion as jaundiced a little bit, but I will still go ahead and sustain my own opinion. This opinion is personal opinion. Do we need a national carrier? Yes, I think we do, in my opinion. Now, is the model selected the best? I do not think so. That is still my personal opinion.
So you are saying the model is not the best, and so what would be the best option in this case?
Yeah, because the equity, like I say, like you mentioned, the 5% that government is owning, what is that for? Let me go back a little bit in history. When we had this similar thing with Virgin Atlantic could not get, for so many years, couldn't get slots out of Heathrow into Nigeria, Lagos, Abuja. So they were operating out of Gatwick. They couldn't get a slot. They tried so many years. But when they came in, the first thing they did was to switch. Because the first few flights were Virgin Nigeria operated out of Heathrow. Because they were controlling, they switched their own flights to Heathrow, which is the preferable destination for most Nigerians going into London, and we lost that slot. So 5%, will that qualify us to regain the slots at Heathrow? I do not think so, because 5% does not represent ownership of or the nationalization of that airline.
Okay, if you talk about, let's take a closer look at this, because according to the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, the 5% is for the government, right? While 46%, of course, is exclusively for Nigerians. And that's why the government is calling for initial public offer in that regard. And of course, 49% is for equity partners. I mean, you were part of those who canvassed for national carrier. So give us a blueprint of what was in that document. Why didn't it take off then, and why now? And if some of these, sharing or ratio is anything to go with, what exactly should have been the real picture?
I will not be able to give you the details of the document, really. But what I can say is that, I'm giving you one reason why 5% is not adequate, at least for the airline. Imagine the airline to be treated as a national carrier. The second one is funding. Because what we have now is similar to what we had with Virgin Atlantic. It's like doing the same thing all over and expecting a different result. Because the movable assets that those people are bringing in, they are the aircraft themselves. They are mobile assets. And they can move them anyway, just like Virgin did. And the moment Virgin withdrew its aircraft, its own contribution, Air Nigeria had to go down because they didn't have the capacity. Look, aviation business is not a small business. If you take all the assets of all the banks in Nigeria today, I doubt if they can fund aviation. No, I doubt it because their assets are about $18 billion or so, which is lower than the fifth lowest bank in South Africa. So you still need an organization that will have a sustainable ownership that will attract a borrowing cost, a lower borrowing cost, at least a sovereign cost. That is what a national carrier will have enjoyed. But with 5%, I doubt if they will qualify for that.
Okay, let me, I want us to talk further a bit, and for the sake of those who are watching, to clarify some issues here, because there are, in some quarters, government is not supposed to own a business or to even operate a business in the first place. So 5% is for government, and of course 49% is for equity partners, and of course the other percentage is for Nigerians. Isn't that clear enough?
No, because you see, we are working on the same mindset that has failed us so many times. Who says government? I'm not saying government. Government can own. The ownership issue is not at stake here.
Right.
Although government cannot run a business. We all know that. Government cannot run a business. They don't have the wherewithal to run a business. But that does not mean they cannot own a business. So and we have tried this, and everybody is saying government has no business in business. No, government has no business running a business. But government has the business to own a business. And the American model has been anything that is publicly owned, they outsource the management to the private sector. And I think that is what we need in this case. Because when it comes to really fund these airlines, to really enjoy the lower cost of borrowing, to be able to raise bonds, it's only a sovereign ownership that can do that. Yes, but they don't have to run it. They don't have to. Those guys coming in will form a consortium to run the airline, but they must put something down themselves anyway. So whatever they put down is at least to manage it well. But when it comes to ownership, I doubt if they were able to raise enough funds to really build a big airline. No, I doubt it. The private sector. See, our economy is not that strong. Our economy is not strong enough for that.
Well, but I want us to look at the approach of the government, and of course the option for raising initial public offer with the IPO, of course. For now, Nigeria Air is a limited liability company with public partnership in the way it is done. But if you look at it, do you think there's still a need for IPO, given the fact that you will not have partners who are coming in to partner with the government?
I thought IPO was supposed to be with SEC, that is the Security and Exchange Commission. An IPO is an initial public offering.
Yes.
I think what they are doing now is trying to form a consortium to run the airline. It's not an IPO yet. So they can bring anybody in to do it. But what I'm saying that I would have expected that government will retain ownership but not to run it. Because it's only government. It's like what Fashola told us about the second Niger bridge. The people they gave to could not raise the fund, or the government had to come in. So, and it is like, and this one is bigger, because when it comes, we're talking about dollars here now. An aeroplane, minimum is maybe about $100 million, and they're not going to start. Okay, even if they start with 1, 2, they have to bid on it. So where are they going to get the money? At the back end. So it is only government that can respond. You know that even no matter how bad the economy is, Nigeria was still able to raise Eurobond, because they know that no matter what happens, the government cannot go under. But the government can go under. So when it comes to bonds, to raising funds and everything, it's better on government ownership for something like this.
So I would like to ask you, what ratio or percentage will place the government in a position of ownership?
I think, from about 50, I think. I don't know how it works, but there must be a minimum percentage. But government have a controlling share in ownership to be able to file for borrowing or to raise bonds. Because people will know, okay, all right, okay, this thing belongs to government. But with 5%, I don't know how it works, but I doubt if 5% is enough.
Well, let's take it. Yes, we know this is good news, of course, to many Nigerians, but the bad news perhaps is that the federal government plans to start this project by renting airplanes, or as in other words, leasing, as it were. So what are the implications of this, and how do you think the government should go about it with this new project now?
There's nothing wrong with leasing an aeroplane to start with. Emirates started with leased aeroplanes, three leased aeroplanes. See where Emirates is today. But Emirates is government. Everybody knows Emirates is government owned, but it is privately run. So, and Emirates can raise. I mean, the government of Dubai can raise money, anytime, to be able to support Emirates. So I don't, and I mean, with the support of the UAE government itself. So I don't know. I doubt if 5% is just enough for this. For any lender or somebody that's going to raise funds to raise funds for the airline, I don't know. I don't know whether 5% is enough. Maybe the experts will be able to tell us that 5% is okay, but I don't think so.
Okay. But the timeline is another issue here. I mean, it's in 6 months' time. That's when the project is supposed to deliver. So if you stakeholders and experts in the aviation sector are doubtful over this, the capacity of the government to make good its promise in 6 months' time. So how feasible is this?
No, government can do anything anytime. Government can do it in 3 months. So why not? We're talking about the government.
Given the fact that there's a challenge with raising of funds and all of that.
Look, how long did it take us to raise the Eurobond? I think government can do it. That is not a problem. Another problem that I would like to talk about is the marketing model.
Right.
The marketing model because of our ego, we have settled for the legacy airline model. Legacy airline model is okay, but to really develop aviation in Nigeria, I think we have to do the low-cost carrier model. There's no country yet that has done that, but why not? We can start it. Because with low-cost carrier model, the manufacturers will back us. Because they know it will entail a number of aeroplanes, a great number of aeroplanes. Because that means you will need a lot more aeroplanes, about 10 times more than the legacy aeroplanes will need. And that's good business for them, so they will support. But I don't know whether we think it's too belittling for a national carrier to go legacy. What matters is for the airline to, with time, you can create something, the legacy arm of it. But to start, why not? Let's start with that. Everybody knew we had done legacy before, so it's not that. But we can start with the L6.
Okay, let's wrap up with this, Captain. The entrance of Nigeria in aviation sector, it's obviously at a time like this when the sector is undergoing reforms, as it were. So what do you think that is the chance of the Nigeria Air competing with already existing operators, and what this means for the aviation sector?
You mean the local operators or the international operators?
The international operators, both, of course, the local and both international operators as well.
It's a market. If you have a good stuff in the market, you will sell. So I don't see that as a big problem. Anybody can come in anytime if he has something, to offer. Everybody loves the market.
Do you think it will create any disruption in the market?
If the pricing is okay, people will flock to them. I don't think anybody's married to any airline. So, particularly in this part of the world. And if the service is good, it will sell itself.
Okay, I think we should leave it there. Thank you so much, retired Captain Samuel Kokri, aviation expert, talking about Nigeria Air floating next year there and the possibility of the success that it will bring into the aviation sector. Thank you so much for your time. We'll appreciate you.